I'm going to teach you how to heel side 180 stand-up slide. Alright, so coming into this trick, you don't really need to know any certain tricks. So this can be the first trick you ever learned, or it could also be, fourth or fifth trick you've ever learned. So if you have gloves, you might want to learn a glove slide before going into this trick, but you don't necessarily have to. This could be your first longboarding slide trick. You're gonna want to slide your wheel to learn how to stand-up slide. When you're sliding, when you know how to slide, any wheel can pretty much do whatever you want on a slide, but some wheels better than others. When you're learning how to slide, you want a wheel that's designed for sliding, a freeride wheel. That generally is in higher duros, but I mean, softer duros will just work just as fine if you break them in. My friend's got Metro Motions, I've got Cold Classics. I used to ride durians, and they're all really slidey. They're all designed for free riding, which is what stand-up slides get you into. And you're gonna need a board too. Okay, first thing you need to know for this trick tip is that a heel side 180 is also the same thing as a front side 180. So you're on your heels when you're doing this trick. You're leaning on your heels because you're doing a heel side 180. So I'm turning on my heels. Also, it's a front side 180 too, so my front side is going that way, and the 180 is all the way around. So you're digging in on your heels when you do this trick. Your foot positioning for this trick is feet are on the board, you're leaning on your heel side, and I would say maybe your back foot could be even more on your heel side if you wanted. Digging in with the ball of your foot like this, so you can really dig it and break that traction like that. And learning this trick, make sure you always have your gloves on, because you want to feel free to be able to fall back on your hands, because you're doing a 180 heel side, you might fall back on your hands if you're leaning too far off your board, which is important to do, to lean off your board so you can break traction very easily. Learning this trick, you're going to be wanting to lean off your board a lot and squatting down. It's going to keep you on your heel side and not leaning too far forward, which is often the problem of doing your heel side 180s. You're riding down a hill with your feet in foot position mentioned before, and you're carving into your slide. And I would carve about this much when you're learning. And as I said before, you're going to be squatting down and leaning off your board a lot like this. So keep looking on your heel side, and you got to make sure you're looking at your board in front of you. So you're looking at your board, especially when you're starting to get into your slide, you're 90 degrees, you don't want to be on top of your board like this. Otherwise you're going to get pushed forward and you're going to fall down the hill.
Like a noob.
You want to stay back, lean back, squatting down, and looking at your board in front of you.
Looks like you're taking a dump.
The more you do that, the cleaner your slide will be, less chattering, and cooler it will be. You want to be cool when you're long. So you've carved into your slide, right? And you're starting to lose traction. You're going 90 degrees right here, and you're leaning back off your board. This is where you can stretch it out, and you can pull it back if you're just trying to do a speed check. And I'm going to tell you how to pull over the 180. So when you're pulling over the 180, you got to have the momentum to do that. So when you're learning, you might want to do wind up for your slide. So you kind of want to go like this with your arms, that with your arms, this with your feet. Okay. And flail your arms up really high. Really lean back, stretch it out, and then just twist your waist over. Okay, so problems with learning this slide is often people aren't leaning back enough. So when you're leaning too far forward, or just, you can't be centered on your board, because if you're leaning on your board like this, and you're 90 degrees already like this, leaning forward. Think about how it's even possible to finish out a 180 when you're leaning forward this way, and you're kind of doing it through like a wheel side of the car. Well, it's not a car, it's a slide, but... And you're leaning forward, which doesn't make sense. You gotta make sure you're doing forward like that. And that's why it's always great to know how to do a Coleman when you're learning this, just so you're used to leaning back and sliding. And also, don't feel afraid to fall on your hands. Gloves are always important. When you're coming out of the slide, you're going to be bending your knees a lot. So, coming out, you're going to be releasing all that pressure that's trapped into this big slide. And then you just pull up and you'll gain it back. Learning a 180 heel side stand slide is a very cool trick to learn. Make sure you pay attention to all the details that I mentioned in this trick tip to make sure you're doing the best stand-up slide you can possibly do.